Was the idea ever in your head to try to get like Van Damme involved in this project, though?
Oh man, I have to be honest. I won't lie.
Hey guys, in this video we're going to find out everything you want to know about the Last Kumite. A lot of you guys brought that to my attention, and who better to answer all these questions than executive producer Sean David. So he's going to tell you how he got involved in the project, how it came about, was there any discussion to have Jean-Claude Van Damme or Steven Seagal involved, all that and so much more. One thing I want to point out though, and there's not a lot of time left, you got to check out the Kickstarter link below, see what kind of perks you can get. I want to help it reach its goal. You guys got to either contribute, share it with your friends, get the word out if you want one of these type of movies back that pays homage to Bloodsport. So one of those kind of 80s type martial arts movies back. If you're into that, and you probably are if you watch the channel, please consider checking out the Kickstarter, sharing it with your friends. And I know it's a movie a lot of us want to see. Just the curiosity factor alone, like we got to see this thing, man. So let's help Sean and the team out for the Last Kumite. So let's talk about the project. How and why did it come about?
To be honest, if you would have asked me that question like 15 or 16 months ago, I had no intention of becoming a movie producer whatsoever.
Okay.
I basically did the same thing, or I am doing basically the same thing like as you do. I talk to legends from back in the days, and since I'm a huge fan of those martial arts movies from back in the days, I talk to many legends of that time period. And the interview always lasted like for half an hour, and after the interview was done, we continued talking like for an hour, for 2 hours, and everybody was basically on the same page with me in terms of why aren't those kind of movies getting produced anymore? Why is that era over? Why, even though there's still a market for those kind of movies, why is nobody doing that movies? And then Matthias Hues, the guy who played the villain in Dolph Lundgren's I Come in Peace, or in No Retreat, No Surrender 2, told me, hey, why don't you produce such a movie? And me being totally naive and stupid, that sounds like an amazing idea. I should produce that movie.
Sure.
Yeah, that was 60 months ago, and now I'm a movie producer.
Wow. And I remember over a year ago, I think last January of 2022, you had randomly emailed me and was kind of talking about like some project. Obviously, it was in the very early stages. So a year, fast forward like a little over a year later, and it's really, really coming to life. And it sounds quite amazing with the cast you got involved. But not only that, the behind the scenes stuff, right? The basic plot, if you want to summarize.
Okay, I won't tell you who the main guy will be. That will be a surprise.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can tell you the basic story without spoiling too much. So, or very, very summarized. So the story is about a single raising parent, a father, martial artist, who participates in a local New Yorker karate tournaments. He's pretty good in shape. He wins the tournaments, and he gets approached by a shady businessman who invites him to an illegal kumite in Bulgaria. The hero doesn't want to participate and refuses the offer, and his daughter gets kidnapped. And in order to save her life, he has to participate in the kumite. And it turns out he's not the only one who has to save his loved ones. That's all I can say.
So basically, nobody wants to go to this kumite. They're all like forced to go.
There are some people who want to be there for the money.
Okay.
But many are forced, yeah.
Interesting.
For all fans of 80s and 90s action movies and classics such as Bloodsport and Kickboxer, comes a real retro experience. The Last Kumite.
How'd you get involved with Stan Bush anyway? Did you just like randomly email these guys or what?
The funny thing is, I had Stan on my show before the whole project came about. So I had him on my show. We talked, and he was a very nice guy, and we stayed in touch. And obviously, when the whole concept for the movie came about, that we wanted to have an old school martial arts movie in the style of 80s and 90s martial arts movies, obviously you have to have an iconic sound, and the music was so vital for those kind of movies. Like to me, in my opinion, many movies like Bloodsport and Kickboxer never would have had that success if the music wasn't as good as it was.
Mind and body are a perfect team. Now's my chance to live my dream.
And yeah, I just reached out to Stan Bush and told him, hey, I'm doing a movie. Would you like to do the music for it? And I told him about the concept, and he wanted to do it so bad because he's also a sucker for this kind of music. He still does that kind of music, so it was right up his alley.
Oh yeah, perfect. And of course you got Paul Herzog for the score involved as well.
Yes, yeah, Paul. The crazy thing is, to me, Paul is one of the most iconic 80s, 90s composers of all time, and he hasn't scored a movie since 1991 for whatever reason.
Like what is he doing?
Yeah, he's a teacher. He's actually a teacher. Yeah,
is he a music teacher?
Exactly.
Okay.
And he told me, I asked him the same question. I asked him, like, Paul, you were so big in those kind of movies. Why haven't you continued working in the business? And he told me that the business has changed. Like those electronic soundtracks were looked down upon in the 90s, and so he basically gave up. And yeah, I told him that I'm such a big fan of his work and that he still has millions of fans that enjoy his music, and we want to have him for this project so bad. And I basically got him out of retirement, and he still has the old equipment from back in the day. So
really, he's got the old equipment. That's cool. That's
exactly.
Nice. Yeah, that should be a bonus feature, by the way, on like the Blu-ray release of him using the old equipment, composing the music. Right, it'd be a nice little segment.
I got a question for you. Which music do you prefer, Kickboxer or Bloodsport?
I'm a Bloodsport guy. Like the music, the movie, everything about it. We'll talk more about that momentarily because, of course, The Last Kumite is heavily inspired by Bloodsport and some other films. The Last Kumite is going to be an awesome movie. Old school martial arts movies need to come back. I agree. That's kind of the reason I started the channel, making the 80s and 90s great again, because like you said, they don't make these movies anymore. So I just kind of watch and rewatch the movies they did back in the day because I'm not satisfied with the vast majority of the stuff coming out these days, unfortunately. But a lot of people kind of feel that way too. It's not just us.
Yeah, but that explains also the success of your show. I mean, we talked a little bit before the interview that your channel grew so much in the past 6 to 7 months. That is because so many people have a craving for those kind of movies and those kind of topics. So obviously there is still a crowd and audience for those kind of films.
Oh, no doubt. And the interesting thing about The Last Kumite, and I think it's both good and bad, to be perfectly honest, is the casting. Is really cool that you got all these old school dudes like Billy Blanks, Michelle Kesey, Abdel Kesey. You have Kurt McKinney.
Yes.
You have all these old school martial artists, which is cool. And we love seeing them fight on screen in the 90s, but they're a little older now. Like, are they literally fighting in the Kumite? Is it going to be a bunch of like Rocky Balboas fighting?
Okay.
I think I want to like fight. You know, nothing big, small stuff like locally.
The press has labeled you a Balboasaurus. How do you feel about that?
Okay. I know where you're heading. So the first thing, we're not stupid, okay? So obviously, not every one of them will participate in the Kumite. Everybody has a role which is according to their age and which is suitable to their age. But on the other hand, there are certain people who age differently, and especially martial artists who take care of their body for their entire life, age differently than I would age, for example. Yeah, I'm 39 and I can hardly move. Yeah, if you compare me to Cynthia Rothrock, for example, she's definitely better in shape than I am. But to answer your question, the majority of the fighters in the Kumite are younger.
Okay.
But there will also be 1 or 2 legends in the Kumite.
Okay, that's good to know. And some of the cast I've noticed, you got David Young, Bolo's son.
Yes,
one of the younger fighters. You got Emilian DeFalco.
Yes.
So I know him. He's a great martial artist.
Yes, absolutely.
Have you approached Scott Adkins or Michael Jai White? Have you approached those guys at all?
It's funny. I actually I had Scott on my show like 7 or 8 months ago, and actually when the script was written, it was written having Scott in mind as the lead.
Okay.
But Scott, because Scott already did some tournament movies with the Undisputed French,
yeah.
exactly. It was not the kind of direction he would like to go, which I totally respected. And Scott was super nice, super friendly, super cool about it. And I totally respect it, and I totally understand it. But on the other hand, I'm also happy now the way it is, because Scott would have outshined from the star power that he has at the moment, because he's a current star. He might have overshined some of the guys, and the way it's balanced now, I feel 100% comfortable with it. And Michael J. White, I mean, it's also a budget question. Those guys are, they're pretty current, they're pretty popular right now, and I'm not sure if we could have afford them. But hey, if the movie does well, maybe there's a sequel. You never know what happens.
So you're saying it's not necessarily the last Kumite?
Well, it definitely will be the last Kumite of the hero.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, so obviously it's tied in like an homage to Bloodsport. Is the Kumite tied into like the Black Dragon Fighting Society at all, or what?
No. Obviously, we have to separate our movie from Bloodsport because of rights issues and so on. So it's not a Bloodsport sequel. It's not in the same universe as Bloodsport, but it should be an homage to movies such as Bloodsport and Kickboxer and No Retreat, No Surrender, those 80s martial arts styles. So, but it has a completely own story, own universe. So it has nothing to do with Bloodsport, but obviously an homage.
Yes, and you approached and talked to a lot of these old school martial artists. Did you ever approach Frank Dux by any chance?
No, but I was in touch with Frank a year ago, and a super nice guy, by the way. And I always say, like, on every show that I go, people, I don't want to say they make fun of Frank Dux, but in their opinion, they all say that Frank is lying.
People are ignorant. So they try to put me in the same box as their ignorance.
And I know my opinion is probably not the most popular one, but my opinion is I don't even care if he's lying. There's one fact: if it wasn't for him, we never would have had the movie Bloodsport, and that's what I care about. So I'm grateful for whatever he has done, that I could have a movie that I'm still loving 40 years later, that I still have so much passion for. So that's all I care about. But I haven't approached him about this movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I mean, yes, I would like to know the truth, and I do appreciate if people tell me the truth, right? But at the end of the day, I will always give him credit for Bloodsport. I don't personally care if he did fight in the Kumite. It's not going to affect my life. I don't really care if he was part of these secret CIA operations. Like, it doesn't affect my life. Though if you ask him, it probably did, because he helped circumvent certain things from happening. So maybe it would have affected all of our lives.
All right, Frankie.
Cinematic Tendency is Oliver Harper, an editor of The Last Kumite.
Do you know Oliver Harper?
I don't know him. I know of him. I have watched his videos. He does good work.
Yes. Yeah, Oliver Harper is going to be the editor.
Sean, who is producing this movie, is a big fan of my work and loves my style of editing, so I've been brought on board to edit this feature film. With all the great talent on board who have many years of experience in the action genre, it's going to be very exciting for me personally to edit all their fight sequences together to make something really exciting to watch.
And he's actually one of my favorites YouTubers, because he also does, he covers old school movies, not only martial arts, but action movies, like Universal Soldier and basically all the Van Damme stuff. So yeah, he's also a great YouTuber, and I watch his show just as religiously as yours.
Oh, thank you.
No, seriously, I have watched many of your episodes, man. You do very, very interesting and very good interviews.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah. Appreciate that. And here's another interesting and very good interview, by the way, live no less. Richard G comments, will there be a character based off of Frank Dux?
No.
Okay. He also said I need to be in the movie, by the way, so I'm getting some support here. Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Okay.
Oh, look, Ayub Kisi.
Oh, Mohammed. Hey,
That's
man. How you
Mohammed,
doing?
yes.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
And
Oh,
I don't know if he's actually fighting in the film, because you kind of mentioned maybe some guys will, some guys won't. I will say one thing, though. There is rumblings of a real fight with Muhammad Kisi and Don the Dragon Wilson.
for real?
For real, for real.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's awesome.
I do got to ask, though, since I did bring up Don Wilson, did you ask Don Wilson to be a part of this?
I was in touch with Don, but to make a long story short, we wanted to have him in the movie.
Okay.
And I was talking to him, and then he got sick for a while, which I didn't know, and we weren't in touch for a time period, and we had to move on because we had to cast the last roles, and yeah, so it didn't work out. Now it's a budget reason why we can't add him to the movie. But hey, as I said, who knows if this is the only movie? Maybe it turns out to be a franchise. You never some names around that you could add for a potential second movie.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Ron asks, when will the movie be released?
Yeah, so we're targeting the April 2024. So obviously we're hoping that the Kickstarter campaign that we're running right now will be a success, so that we can shoot the movie in the time span that we actually want to have, and that we have all the finances together. Yeah, and then we target April 2024.
Oh, that'll be great. Now, everybody, check out the Kickstarter. Support the Kickstarter. It's linked in the description below.
The chance of making millions of people happy just to have a childhood movie get so many people happy motivates me like crazy. And if we would reach the Kickstarter goal, it would help us to increase the shooting schedule. We could have more music from Paul Herzog. We might have the chance to add another surprise star to the movie. So it would give us way more options. So yeah, it would really help. Really, really help.
Okay. Yeah. So if we want this thing to be the best and the highest quality it can. And obviously with movies, you could always do more with more money. So
can I add one more thing, please?
Yeah, of course.
Another thing, obviously, in order for you guys to see the movie around the world, another reason why it's important for us to reach the Kickstarter goal is we still need to sign several distribution deals around the world so that the movie comes out, for example, in Spain, in France, etc. And if a distributor sees that we reach our Kickstarter goal, they see, okay, that there is a demand. People want this to work. People want this to happen. So it increases our chances of getting distribution deals around the world.
That's a really great point. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. As far as distribution, though, I know you're going to have like hard copies, like Blu-ray, which is great.
Yes.
I want one in this bookcase, of course. Do you guys have plans in some territories to try to get a theatrical release?
Yes. We signed distribution deals in the US, which could have potentially, depending on how good the movie turns out, have a limited release in the cinema. Okay. In Australia and New Zealand, it's supposed to have a limited release in the cinema. So at the end, it all depends on how good the movie turns out. And I'm not saying that more money automatically gets you a better quality movie, but it increases the chances and the possibilities to create the movie in your vision.
For sure. Like the real magic of movies, and I think some of the greatest movies ever did not have even close to the biggest budget. They were The Karate Kid, they were Rocky, they were Bloodsport. And it's really that passion of people wanting to make something great that you can't pay for.
Yes.
Like you can't just say, here's $1 million, make the best movie ever. It's like the guy will take the $1 million and make something, commercial releasable, but that's about it. It ain't gonna have like the I think great movies like Bloodsport literally have like a soul. It's like they're alive, right?
Yes. That's a perfect. You analyzed it perfectly. That's exactly how I feel. There are so many movies who have a very limited budget, but you can see that that the movie was shot creatively. Like for example, Bloodsport. For example, the movie looks beautiful. The fighting choreography is beautiful. Even though fighting styles have advanced since then. From an artistic standpoint, Bloodsport to me is like eye candy. It looks so artistic, beautiful, and that shows that people really gave thought to it and really had their heart into the project. And yeah, I'm not sure if the movie had more budget that the movie would have been better.
Probably not. I mean, there's just so much involved. Like you said, it had the right music. Had they actually had more money, they might have paid some other guy instead of Paul Herzog, and it wouldn't have been the same. Had they had more money, I mean, I guess Canon Films had an in-house editor, but it was Van Damme going in there and recutting it, and it wasn't because, hey, Van Damme, here's a bunch of money, recut the film. It's like, no, I have a vision, and I know how the fights need to look. So yeah, sometimes it's a lot more than money, but obviously you need money to get anything done. Talking about how great Bloodsport looked, cinematographer David Worth, did you ever approach him?
It's funny. Yeah, I also talked to him.
Of course.
Yeah, we actually wanted to have him, but and he also was interested, but it's a long story. It didn't work out, but we are happy with the way it turned out. Now we have Ross Clarkson, who was the DP, what do you call it in English?
Yeah, cinematographer, DP.
Yes, exactly. Who was the DP for the Undisputed movies. Okay. And he's such a team player, and that's also so important to me. Like, everybody that we have in the movie and team-wise is a person who really has his passion for this project and who's really a team player. I don't want to have any a-holes working on this.
Make it miserable for everybody involved, man.
Yes. Yeah. So we're happy with the solution.
Oh, nice. Here's a question or a comment. Filmologic, imagine Seagal having a cameo.
Yeah, that will never happen.
Why not?
Okay, the first thing, and believe me, I'm a very positive person. I don't like talking bad about people at all. Mm-hmm. But I actually know people that worked with Steven Seagal, and he doesn't seem to be a nice person. And this is exactly what I said before. And this is also something that's 100% me. You can be the biggest star. You could offer me $10 million to invest in my movie. If I know that you're not a good person, I would never take your money. I'd rather suffer and not get the money than working with a not good person.
Can I laugh in your face?
Yeah, that makes sense. As far as Seagal, I mean, people will know that I'm one of probably there's got to be more than just me on the internet. One of the few defenders of Steven Seagal online, man. Everybody else trashes him on YouTube.
Steven Seagal is an absolute monster. This dude is terrible. Worse than I could even imagine.
I just wonder how many of these stories are true and if he changed, because people do change. So maybe if someone worked with him 20 years ago, maybe he was an a-hole. I have no idea. But maybe he changed as he got older, right?
Yeah, I can tell you that. I actually know somebody who worked with him not so many years ago, who told me, and that's a person that I trust, who told me that it was not a pleasure at all. And at some point, and truth being told, I was a huge Seagal fan in the early 90s. I loved his movies, and just talking from his appearance from back in the days and his the way that he looked and the way his fighting style looked, that guy was unbelievable. That was something that we have never seen before. And credit where credit is due. Yeah, but in the past 20 years, his movies weren't good. I'm sorry, and I gave the movies a chance because I wanted the movies to be good, but it didn't happen. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I have to agree with the movie thing. I mean, the last 20 years,
Yeah, and I just heard so many stories also from people that I trust that it's just hard to, root for the guy.
Yeah, I mean, if you got people you talk to that worked with him, then, it is what it is. I have to ask this. Now, I'm pretty sure the reason is because of the budget, right? Like, someone like Van Damme, Jean-Claude Van Damme, would be very expensive still. Was the idea ever in your head to try to get like Van Damme involved in this project though?
Oh man, I have to be honest, I won't lie. Yeah, there was an idea at first. That was, and I know that he even had the script. I know that he had the script.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And I even met him.
You met Jean-Claude?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, but we only talked for a minute.
Okay.
Yeah. So truth be told, we only talked for a minute, and I didn't even didn't even ask him about the script. I just talked about. I don't even remember. But and here comes the but. A year ago, Van Damme announced. I forgot what I think the movie title was. What's My Name?
Yeah, I remember that. I did a video on that. Yeah.
Exactly. And he announced that he doesn't want to do any action and fighting movies anymore.
Well, after that one. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So when I haven't heard back from him, I thought, okay, he doesn't want to do fighting movies anymore. I respect that. That's totally fine. But I could also, that's another thing. I could also understand that he would not like to do another tournament franchise if it's not Bloodsport. I totally would understand that.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Since you have Bolo's son David in the film, though, did you ever approach Van Damme's son Chris?
No, but I would lie if I would say that I never thought about it.
He's an amazing martial artist.
I know. But you know, my problem with the whole situation would be then it would look like we would only want him because he is Van Damme's son. Like, for example, David, Bolo's son, for example, even if he would not be Bolo's son, he would still be interesting for the movie because he has a great look. His body is phenomenal. You know, and
that's the same with Chris, though, man. Check out his Instagram. He's like ripped and
yeah,
big
he looks
and
good. He looks
great
good.
Martial arts, you know. So even if he didn't have the name, this is a guy with a lot of talent and good traits for film.
It would be funny to have him being the hero and Bolo's son David being the villain.
It literally be. You'd have to change the name to Bloodsport Generations or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. It would be crazy. It would be crazy.
Yeah. Speaking of the fights, though, fighting in the movie, Sharif El-Bouchi, who's doing the fight choreography for the film?
Yes, we actually are very, very happy and very proud that we have Mike Muller. Mike Muller is very well respected in Hollywood. He worked on movies with Stallone in The Expendables Part 4. He was, I think, in The Matrix, the last one. If you go on YouTube and you type in Mike Muller, this guy is amazing and well respected around the world. And we were very lucky that he is also such a huge fan of those 80s martial arts movies that he said, hey, I don't want to be in this project for the money. I just want to be a part of this great project. This is basically the attitude of everybody in the movie. Everybody said, hey, money is not my main reason to be part of this movie. I just want to be part of a great project and make their fans happy.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, this in no way is a paycheck movie. Like, I just can't imagine anybody involved. Yeah, I'll do it. How much are you going to give me? Like, yeah, this is different. We can all tell. Here goes a question. Mike Rose, will you be filming in the UK?
No, we won't. We'll be filming in the US. We'll be filming in Germany, and we will be filming in Bulgaria.
US, Germany, and Bulgaria. Oh, let me ask you this. So obviously what's very important with Bloodsport and where most of the film took place was at the actual Kumite. They had that cool platform. Did you guys build your stage, fight ring, platform, etc.?
Yes, and it was super expensive. Oh shoot, man! I signed the contract for that thing today, and it really hurt so much to sign that thing because that ring is just super expensive.
Yeah, you guys.
But it's important. It's
very important. It's like a character in the movie, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Good point.
Did you guys build that in Bulgaria, Germany, or the U.S.?
Germany.
Oh, so it's in Germany.
Yeah, because Germans have good quality products.
Yeah, Mercedes, BMWs, sure, man. The engineering country.
Can we answer the question that you just went
which
by?
One was that?
This one, yeah. I would love to answer that.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, it's amazing, and this is actually a thing that motivates me like crazy. As I said before, I get 100 emails every day from people who would like to be in the movie. Yeah. But I also get many, many messages from people actually thanking us, even though we haven't even shot the movie yet. People from all over the world thanking us that we make an attempt to actually make a movie like that. And I know for a fact that if I wouldn't be the producer and I would hear from somebody that would do a movie like that, I would be super grateful and super happy, because I would love to see a movie like that. So yeah, the reception is super positive. Obviously, you always have people who dislike that, but hey, we're not making the movie for them. We're making for the people that want to see a movie like that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, you know the audience. The audience is people that watch my channels, people that watch some of the other guys you're associated with channels. It's people that love Van Damme, Matthias Hughes,
Yes.
all these guys, Billy
Yes.
Blanks.
The thing is, when we're talking about 80s martial arts movies, there were really some movies that like I get invited to many German shows where we talk about movies, like movie shows, and I always defend those martial arts movies from the 80s. People always say, oh, they never had the greatest plot and they were so cheap and so on, but they managed to do something that to me proves that they are masterpieces. If you can rewatch a movie 50 times and you still enjoy it, that shows a certain degree of quality, and it shows that that those movies are special. I watched Bloodsport 100 times, No Retreat, No Surrender 100 times, Kickboxer 100 times.
Sure.
So that proves that this is quality too.
Definitely. Yeah, Bloodsport never becomes dated. That is
Amen,
very
brother.
true. So, well, let's talk more about the the wrap things up, more about the Kickstarter, more about these perks, just to get people to in and out, why they need to help donate, not only to make it happen, but what else are they getting out of it besides a great movie?
Okay, first of all, I want to give props to you on your show, not after the show. I want people to hear that. The way that you prepare for interviews and the way that the effort that you show to push this, I really, really appreciate that. And you are a very good host.
Thank you.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure it's been said on air. So the perks, the tiers on Kickstarter. So this is something that we really gave a lot of thought, because we wanted to make sure that we offer something that the fans would love to have. So we have obviously autographs of the cast. We have posters with the entire main cast signed, so all the legends on the poster. We have personal video shout outs. So for example, to have Kurt McKinney, the star from No Retreat, No Surrender, or Matthias Hughes, or Michelle Kissy sending video shout outs, personalized. We have worn outfits, which is worn in, which get worn in the movie. We have you could be an executive producer for the movie, so get your name in the credits on IMDb and your name in the movie. Plus Blu-rays, the soundtrack. We have this poster stand, 6'2", with all the signatures in gold from the cast. You could be a VIP at the set. Come to Germany. Lot of crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, that sounds great. So guys, click the link in the description and not only support it, but get some really cool perks. Here's a comment from Mike Rose. Sean David, a huge thank you for what you're doing. I get to be a kid again. Yeah,
you're welcome, Mike. Thank you for supporting. Really appreciate it.
Guys, it's really getting down to the wire. So when I posted this video, 18 days left. You're probably watching this after the fact, though, with less time. Click the link. See what kind of perks you get from the Kickstarter. Share it with your friends. Make a contribution. One of you guys maybe even know somebody with deep pockets who really wants to see this thing get made. And that would be great. So check the Kickstarter, and I hope it hits its goal, man. But you guys can all help out.